world. We're gonna take on the world. Standing tall, we gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners would never look down. No one can stop us, we got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We gonna take on the world. Yeah, we gotta move. Speaking the truth. Yeah, paying our dues. We making the news. Yeah, we hitting the roof. No, we don't wanna lose. Climbing and shaking the walls. We gotta break all the rules. We're gonna take on the world. 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 Feeling the kid.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nilesh Mathure. I'm one of the co-founders of SaasTribe. And today we have with us Will from Typed. So what is Typed? Typed helps teams bring scattered docs together and improves collaborative sort of workflow. So it's a productivity writing application, and we're going to get a great overview from Will about Type. So stay tuned. I see a few people have already joined. Hi, Unes. Hi, Jason. I guess we'll give some time for more folks to join, but we do have Will from Type. So I'm going to bring him on, and just give me a minute here.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Will. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, thanks, and very, very excited to join you guys here.
Excellent. Excellent. So Will is the global marketing executive for Typed. So he handles all the marketing at Typed. And Will, first of all, let me start by congratulating you on your Producthutn campaign yesterday. Your #1 product of the day. So congrats. It probably seems like there's going to be more accolades coming your way. So all the best with that, and well deserved. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was very exciting for the team. I'm actually one of the more recent hires from Typed, and as the event title suggested, we were going to try and get Brian, our head of product, on today. Unfortunately, he had a conflict, scheduling conflict, and so I've jumped in to fill his shoes. So apologies, you're going to get a far less informed person on the pod, but sorry, on the live stream. But I obviously know enough to fulfill the role, hopefully.
I'm sure you'll be great. I think I saw Brian live yesterday. I think it was on Elma's live stream. So hi, Elma, she's here. How are you doing? And there is somebody else here as well. So we have a few folks here. Jason, Unes, I hope you guys are doing great. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's talk about Typed. I was reading into the and looking into the Producthutn campaign itself. This was your third campaign, and a very successful one, right? Like, so you've been around for some time. How long has Type been around? And can you talk a little bit about that? Yes.
Yeah, totally. So it was our first, it was our third time being hunted on Product Hunt, but the first time we'd actually done it ourselves and really gone for it. The first time we were hunted, sort of over 2 years ago, was when the product really was in its absolute prototype stage, and then the second time was in beta. This was the first time we're like, right, the product's ready to go. Let's properly launch it and really get in touch with all of our awesome users who we've been absolutely privileged to work with over the last 2 years, and really go for it. So this was our first. We called it our first official Product Hunt launch. But it was brilliant. So just awe-inspiring and incredibly humbling to see people responding who had been using it since it really was like a prototype with lots of work that needed doing, through to the folk that are now our power users today, and really jumping on with their feedback, hearing from people we really wouldn't have expected. Chris Messina and a few other, of the biggest names in Product Hunt jumping on with likes, upvotes, and a couple of comments. It was an absolute dream, and we couldn't, obviously, whenever you launch on Product Hunt, you are praying that you manage to get product of the day, but to actually do it was such a great moment, and the entire team was absolutely bouncing off the walls of joy.
That's great, and a fair credit goes to you as well. Of course, the product has to be deserving, but I'm sure you put a lot of effort into preparing for that campaign. I also noticed that Ryan Hoover had commented on it, and he's the founder of Producthutn. So he recalled seeing Typed at an early stage, and that his comment was interesting. So I mean, I'm sure a few people noticed you, and that sort of like changes gives you a lot of momentum as well, right? So.
Yeah, totally. And sorry, I forgot to answer the second part of your question about sort of the history of Typed and the team. Typed is South Korea's fastest growing startup. It's the majority of the team are based out of South Korea. Started about 2.5 to 3 years ago. And have been sort of just absolutely purely focused on Typed for the last 3 years and making it as good a product as possible. The three sort of co-founders, Brian, Woojin, and Clint, are incredibly, they're just absolute product nerds, as all the best product owners are. They've been sort of in the network of Product Hunt and that space for many years before Typed, and now that we are launching are becoming much more visible. That's how the sort of very TLDR of the company history and how it's been going.
Okay. And when you say the fastest growing startup in South Korea, that's quite remarkable. You just had an AppSumo campaign as well. Was it more to add users and growing awareness? I'm sure you have a lot of subscription users as well. It
was a bit of both. Obviously, always good to drive direct revenue, and also just get a ton of feedback at scale. I actually think this wasn't entirely by design, but we finished our AppSumo campaign, and then immediately the next week went into our Product Hunt launch. And I actually think we couldn't have timed that better, because we've been listening to every single bit of feedback, good and bad, we've got about the product from our AppSumo subscribers, and just working our socks off as a product team to implement that into the roadmap, both short, mid, and long term. We're absolutely at the point now where I believe we're a mature product, but I think the next year we're going to be rolling out so many features on top of the incredible infrastructure we've already built, based off of that community feedback and based off of our power users requests.
Yes, I gotta acknowledge a few folks here. Hi Chaitanya, I hope you're doing well. Vijay Anand Krishnan Vasudevan is here as well. Hi Vijay. Corey Sanders is here. Um, okay, so saying, been eyeing this product, good to meet the team. Thanks, Corey. You should definitely check them out. I think your product, your AppSumo campaign is done. I'm not sure if you're going to come back for a limited period of time or um, what's that going to be like?
Yeah, TBD. Obviously, you're always a little dependent on what AppSumo want to do with their platform. If if they pitch us with, hey, do you want to do a quick 3-4 day LTD reopen? Yeah, I'm sure we can have that discussion. But right now, no plans. But yeah, watch this space.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Typed itself. AppSumo, it's designed for like you can find a lot of great alternative platforms there for which are challenging more of like incumbents and more established platforms, right? Uh, Typed is a little bit different. What is your typical user base? I mean, what kind of users are you targeting? What kind of platforms are you competing with?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question. Our user base, it's interesting. We do have a few niches that we very much sort of started to really gain traction in, but Typed is really for anyone whose day to day job focuses on knowledge. Whether that's knowledge creation, knowledge reading. What we call a knowledge worker. And nowadays, that's pretty much every office worker. Anyone in marketing, anyone in startups, anyone whose job isn't to create physical things in the real world. You are in some ways a knowledge worker. Anyone who uses Microsoft Word or Google Docs every day, and the vast majority of their output as an employee is on one of those digital platforms. That's who Typed is for. Where we've gained a lot of traction with that in mind are people who are incredibly focused on kind of knowledge. So, we have a lot of founders, a lot of students, quite a few universities that use us because obviously that's a very research and knowledge based sort of, worker. We have a lot of people in VC, a lot of folk that just day to day they're creating a lot of content themselves. We've also got quite a few interesting folk that are professional bloggers, social media influencers, or that kind of personality, and they use Typed as a way to create and manage their content that they're putting out. With regards to who we're sort of in some ways up against, Type, I'm sure every product says this. Type really is a little unique in terms of what it's aiming to do. What we are somewhat in the space of is sort of your Notion or your Coda, but we're also in some ways a Google Docs or a Microsoft, Word. We're also in some ways a Dropbox or a Google Drive, and we're also in some ways an Asana or a Miro. There's a lot of different things that Type does that takes a little bit from here and a little bit from there, while not actually really being directly comparable to any of the big tech products that I just mentioned.
Okay. And in terms of some of these products, of course, have great use cases, very large user base, right? Could some of the users from those incumbent, I would say, product platforms benefit from having Typed and simultaneously use some of the things like Notion or Coda or Google Docs?
Yeah, totally. And I think very much on the future of the product is not trying to replace every system you're using, but work with them as much as possible. At the moment, the main people we're going after, just for the nature of how we built the product at the start, is anyone using the Google Workspace, and very much focused on working in partnership with your Google Workspace rather than replacing it. And I actually think that is quite one of the very unique things about Typed is, Notion and Coda want you to use them and stop using Microsoft or stop using Google. We don't see that as being the only way. Obviously, if someone just wants to use typed and completely live and breathe the product, great, but that's not most teams. And so we chose to integrate very much with the Google Workspace in a genuine partnership, so that the 50-year-old head of department who is just never going to spend the 40 hours learning how to use Notion properly can use our product because the user interface is very familiar to them, because it's essentially the same user interface they use of Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides every day. Although you can in typed edit and view other resources, but when you create a new document, those are the three options available to you. It's basically the three document types from the Google Workspace. Seen a couple of the questions from some of the folk in the live stream asking about, is there a plan for Microsoft? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the next sort of months and years of the product will be really finding ways to integrate, to offer what we have with Google now, where if you are primarily a Microsoft user, you can still use typed and it doesn't replace or conflict. It supports and it supplements and it complements your existing workflow and the stuff that you're familiar with.
Okay. There is one more comment here from Ritwik. Hi, Ritwik. I hope you're doing well. Let me see here if I can. So big comments. I'm going to see if I can reduce the size and show it on the screen here. It says, will typed mobile apps work offline? Notion doesn't work offline. I shifted to Evernote just because it works offline. Can we get the network mode for all the projects and docs in a single view, just like the Obsidian graph view? So I'm sure if you've seen Obsidian being used quite a lot. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the question about the app, I believe right now it doesn't work offline, but that's very much something in the future of the app. Don't quote me on that though, because as I said, I'm not Brian Shin, the head of product, who would have immediately been able to tell you. But I do think that's absolutely what we're working towards, because obviously it's just such a more useful feature to be able to do it, when you're in the underground or you're in an area with terrible reception. So very much so. And with regards to network mode, yes, absolutely. The network mode that you see currently, which is awesome, is still actually technically in beta. We are only scratching the surface of some of the cool stuff we're going to be doing with that particular feature. And so, yeah, that one of the sort of 100%, one of the sort of logical next steps is the overview of all your projects, and also a more granular focus on sort of a specific document or a specific group of documents. So yes, that is in the sort of plans for the product as a future.
There is one more question here from Chinakeswara Virappaneni. Hi. So he's saying, is type drive reference storage using Google storage?
No. So the way that it works is the storage that you have in typed is for the resources and documents you create. So if you're putting in, a PDF into into the resource library of your document in typed, that's part of your storage. If you're adding, a massive 200-page ebook, that's in the storage of typed. It doesn't then use up the. Sorry, let me explain this. So the way that it works is when you sync up Drive and typed, and anything you create within typed is also created within Drive as well, but that's only at the document level. In the resource library, that's unique to typed. So if you add sort of 4 PDFs to the resource library of one of your documents in typed, those 4 PDFs don't get added to your Google Drive. So the storage element that you see on our website and in the product is relating to how many resources you're putting in there. Obviously, we had to cap it because otherwise people would just use it the way that, like a Dropbox, where they're essentially not actually using the document and the knowledge management aspect of the tool and just sort of signing up so they can store 50 gigabytes of whatever. So yeah, that's what the storage refers to.
Okay. There's a follow-up comment here. I mean, type storage using Google infrastructure, AWS, or own servers.
So I believe AWS is what we're on, but again, I'll follow up in the comments of this live stream just once I've checked 100% with Brian. But yes, I believe AWS is where the storage is.
Okay. Fauzi is here. Hello, guys. Hope everyone is doing fine. Thanks, Fauzi, for asking. We're doing just fine. We're just getting started on type, and I'm glad you're here. Why don't we go ahead and if you want to share your screen, we'll take questions simultaneously as well. But let's give an overview of type, some of your very distinguishing features, and talk a little bit about get some more questions. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, as mentioned, right now, and this is very much something we are short-term roadmap. You do need a Google account to sign into Typed. And that's what you sign in with. I'll sign in with the correct account. And here we are. So this first space is kind of like what you're probably going to see the first time that you sign up and log in. The hierarchy of sort of levels with Typed is spaces, as you can see here. So we're just in my personal space right now. Then we have project groups, which are these two you can see here. One's called projects, one called marketing.
Sorry. Well, your screen is cutting off a little bit. I'm not sure
I'm not
how
sure.
you are.
That's new.
Are you in full screen mode?
Yeah, I'm in full screen mode. Let me just see if I can fix this.
Zoom out, maybe?
Yeah, try that. Is that showing any better?
No,
it's not. One sec. Apologies for this, folks.
Yeah, no worries, don't worry.
I don't know how I can jump more into full screen mode. Maybe I'll try it if I share my entire window rather than tab. Maybe that will work. Is this better?
Yeah, much better. Yes.
Excellent. Sorry about that little hiccup, team.
No worries.
So yeah, within Typed, once you've logged in, this is the hierarchy. There's spaces, there's project groups, and then there's projects. So at the moment we're in my personal space, and this is going to be quite close to what you see when you sign up for the first time, where you have a bit of a blank canvas. So yeah, we in the space, you then have choosing of groupings. So your first one that you'll automatically have populated is projects. And then within that, you can break this down based on your unique needs. So, a classic one, if this is a startup company, is you're probably going to have a project grouping called marketing. Then within each project, that's where your documents are. To just walk you through a few of the other sort of elements, we've got the home. Something that we've recently released literally this week are templates. These, as you can see, are based mainly on our most frequent use cases, which are startups and mid-sized companies running the day-to-day knowledge management of their company. So OKRs, weekly checklists, meeting notes. You'll be seeing a lot more of these rolled out over the rest of the year. Just ways for you to jump straight in. Get started with best-in-class examples of kind of common documents, like meeting notes that you're going to be doing in your day-to-day. You'll see your favorites here. You can favorite documents and projects. Once you've done that, these will appear in this tab here. You can see your documents, the ones you've most recently viewed, and also ones created by you. This is my personal space, so everything's created by me. And then here you can see your tasks to do and done. This is where the task management element comes into it. So and then in the top left here, you've got review requests. You can directly within Typed ask folk to review a document, review a specific element of a document. Inbox, this is where you'll have saved resources from the internet, and you'll whenever you save that using the app or the mobile clipper, it'll ask you which workspace and project you want to add those to, and once you've chosen them, they'll arrive here. Got templates again, and then you've got the settings where you do all the classic stuff: who's part of your workspace, plans and billing, integrations, etc., etc. So just working more on the sort of the granular level of it. Within each project, that's where you add documents. Now, when you go to create a document, you will only really be able to, like I said, a new document, you're looking at the Google Workspace right now. We are releasing the typed editor within the next month, within October. So do watch this space. But right now, it's Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. You, excuse me. You can, however, import documents in a way that's document agnostic. So you can add PowerPoints, PDFs, Microsoft documents, and you'll then be able to view those within your type workspace. But if you're creating from fresh right now, these are your options.
Well,
Then,
can I interrupt you for a few
of
minutes
course,
here?
yeah.
So there was a follow-up question regarding this. So is there a limit of how many items can be stored in one particular project?
No, nothing other than your limits with regards to the storage memory. So if you've put so many documents in one of your projects that you've reached your gigabyte of storage capacity or whatever it may be, depending on your account, that's kind of the only limit, really.
Okay.
Any other
And
questions?
can we have a to-do list for each doc if required? That's a question from Ritwik. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So yes, please continue. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, not at all. No. Sorry, please do jump in with questions as and when they come. Obviously, happy to answer anything. So yeah, you kind of see here at the structure level, and with regards to how this then syncs back up with Google Drive, whenever you create something within typed, it is also created in Google Drive, and it's in the same hierarchy. Within Google Drive, in the Shared with Me section, there will be a folder that has the name of the workspace as the top level folder. Then it has the name of the project, and then it has all of the files within that project. So as you work in typed, it syncs up with Google, and that's one of the, like we said, not looking to replace the workspace, but looking to complement it and sync up with it in a true partnership. Then when you come to have a look at a document, this is where you start to see some of the unique functionality of typed. The most sort of the bread and one of the kind of absolute heart and soul flagship elements of the typed product is this little bar here, which we call the reference library. I'm just going to jump over to another workspace to show you this kind of like when it's fully fleshed out, all singing, all dancing. Where's video? There it is. Cool. So you can see here some of the sort of process that we've gone through when we were creating a video for typed, which if you've seen our Product Hunt launch, you'll see the finished product, which we're all very happy with. Within this panel, we've put in every reference and bit of information that we need to move forward with this document and work together. We ran through this on a call. So here, and you can see we've grouped these references based on what they are. So, here we have a whole section of icons that we've used that we were looking to integrate into the video. Here we have the logo, we have the Figma file, we have the Vimeo of the version 1. You can add every bit of information you need to work on a document into this reference library, and you can see here you can either add a reference locally, or you can add one that's part of your workspace, or you can import it from your local device. And this is where things get really smart. This is in the current library. I can also jump into all resources, and then I have access to every single document and project in this shared workspace. So if I know that in strategy, typed SEO strategy, there's something that was relevant to this, I could just slip it straight in. So the more you use typed, the more of this knowledge is at your fingertips and ready to use immediately. And the core, at the very heart of typed, is an attempt to make sure everyone has the information they need to do their job, and also speed up the process with which they are in their workflow. So, rather than if I was writing this document in a classic format, this wouldn't be here, blah, blah, blah. I'm writing. And I think to myself, oh, damn, I've got to reference, the icons list that we set up a few weeks ago. I'd have to jump out of this document, open a new tab, find the document in wherever I've stored it, chuck it in as a hyperlink, and then keep toggling between the two tabs to constantly figure out, take the information from that document and put it into here. Instead, with typed, you jump into the all resources, you find out wherever it is, you add it in, and then it's there to go immediately. And once you've added it in, you can then do lots of really cool stuff with regards to viewing it. So rather than jumping between two different tabs, I can quickly click on the asset here. It loads in the split viewer. I can take whatever information or style guidance I need from this and then just put it into the document. So that what we're really looking to do is focus everything into the document experience, so that when you're creating and working as a knowledge worker, anytime you're taken away from writing or adding to whatever document you're working on, it's for as short a space as possible, and it's with as little distraction as possible. So you just get the information you need ASAP, add it in, and then carry on working.
There is a question, Will,
go around.
Yeah, there's a question around versioning of this document while we are in that document there. Does typed autosave snapshots of a document to keep an eye on the changes over a period of time, along with who did those changes?
Yes, absolutely. It's got the same version control as normal Google Docs, so you can see the history and jump in the same way that you would in that. Any other questions?
Yeah. So with so many LTD products reaching end of life, what are the MRR plans for type? That's a question from Jason. It's a very valid question, because what you see typically on AppSumo is like it's a great campaign and people are very excited about a particular platform, and it does well in sales, and eventually it ends up closing down because to survive and sustain and thrive, you need some sort of a recurring revenue. A one-time revenue might not be sufficient for most of the products, right? So that's a question related to that.
No, it's a very good question, and so there are a few things there. One, typed is going nowhere. Trust me. We have a team of 30. This is not kind of your average AppSumo launch where it's 4 or 5 coders that have banded together and basically just created a product that's an exact replica of another product but slightly cheaper. Typed is entirely unique in the stuff that it does, as I hope I'm doing a probably quite bad job of demonstrating in this presentation. But on top of that, it just has significant. Thank you. It has significantly more infrastructure and funding behind it. All of our focus over the next year is on generating MRR, 100%. We are very confident with having taken the feedback on board of AppSumo and now the Producthutn launch, and even of the various giveaways we've done in Facebook groups and various other online communities. And we're just making the product better and better, and all of our focus now, as we think that we've got to the point where the product is mature, is on refining the edges and making it that 10-15% better, but also driving as many monthly active users and monthly recurring revenue as possible. And we're already making massive headway with that. And at the same time, what we're also doing is we are currently looking for other funding sources. And all of those things are going very well. Typed really is going to be around. There's a reason we're South Korea's fastest growing startup. I totally get some of the folk that appear on AppSumo kind of appear for a year or two and then disappear. We're not going to be one of them. And there's a team of 30 people working to make sure that doesn't happen. And we're growing the team every day.
That's great. So team of 30, you said. And so they're mostly based in South Korea, or you're very geographically diversified?
Yeah, the core team is 100% based in Seoul. Then, hires like myself and a few others have been a little more international and looking very much at this global sort of strategy that we want to implement. Within South Korea, Typed is very much nailed the market. Everyone knows about it, and they get a lot of the longer term monthly active users are from that region. What people like myself have been hired and brought in to do is make sure that we have that same success globally as well as locally.
May we know, like, how many users do you currently have using Type? Free, paid, doesn't matter. Like, how many users are on your platform?
That is a very good question. It's in the thousands. I don't know the exact number though, so I do apologize. I think it's in the tens of thousands, in fact, when you take into account free users. But yes, I don't actually know that off the top of my head, so I do apologize. Wish Brian was here.
Can I ask you one more question regarding your Producthutn campaign yesterday? I know you were offering, I think it was $1 for a month for the next 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
What kind of conversion do you get from that kind of offer? Did a lot of people sign up?
Yeah, we've seen some really great global users from yesterday from the Producthutn campaign, as you'd expect. One of the reasons we waited as long as we did to launch from Producthutn is we wanted to make sure the product was genuinely good enough for people to, to have a chance of getting product of the day and product of the week, but two, for the people that did check it out and sign up to then stick. And our stickiness is very good, and we've seen I think a few hundred folk just from one day of Producthutn sign up with global accounts in both taking advantage of that offer. So yeah, that's gone great. Really, really happy with it, and we're hoping to see that get even better as we one of the things you go on to Producthutn for is all of the social media, newsletter, and press coverage you get from landing something like product of the day or product of the week. So as we hopefully see more success and get more coverage, we'll see the conversion rate of that increase, and we're hoping for thousands, if not potentially north of that in terms of new users just from Producthutn alone.
Okay, and with AppSumo users, I mean, you said there are a lot of great features coming in. So do all the users get access to those features, or there are different tiered plans and some users get access to some features? How is,
Yeah, the folk who signed up on AppSumo, every new feature launched is you get it as part of your LTD. The only difference in tiers for our LTD giveaway was how many users and how much storage space. So I think the minimum tier was for 3 users and maybe 30 gigabytes of storage space. And the tier 3 was more for like 25 and users and however many gigabytes of storage space. So that was the only difference in terms of the features. Yeah, if you're on any of those plans, any new feature, you immediately get it. It's just how many users are in your workspace.
Okay. Does Type support full text search?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay, that's a question from Nilan. Thanks, Nilan, for that question. Can we create templates and share them with others?
So right now, I don't believe we've got that functionality, but it is absolutely top of our agenda with the release of templates. What we're very much looking for is, the Notion, that's how Notion got to where it is. It really incentivized its community to do cool stuff with the product and then shared the best results. So yeah, that's absolutely one of the top things on our agenda is getting that kind of community submission and sharing aspect coming in soon.
Okay, Corey has a question here. Can videos be integrated in Typed or YouTube and Vimeo links?
Yes, YouTube and Vimeo links, 100%. Let me just, so you can see here, I've got a Vimeo link in the right side. Okay, so sorry, the video is set to private, so I can't play it there. If that video or YouTube video was set to public, I'd click it here, it would load here, I could watch it, and then put whatever information I needed to in the doc I'm working on.
Okay. Can you export all your notes to another program easily? What's the migration path like?
So in terms of Google, yeah, everything you've done within Typed is automatically exported to Google and your Google Drive. In terms of exporting to another platform, there's no, I don't believe right now there's an easy sort of export all for all of your documents, but you
I think,
can.
yeah, you might be able to get like a JSON file or something from a Google
Yeah,
document, which you can import, right? So
yeah, exactly. And within every document, there's always, that you could download it as anything you want, or to export it that way. But there isn't like a single sort of export all button anywhere just yet. But again, these are one of the top of our minds is how we do integrate Type with other tools, and I do think the potential to maybe export the entirety of a project or the entirety of a workspace to another platform is very much on there. So thank you for that. I'll add it to the notes for product feedback and see where we can add it to the roadmap.
if I work in the app, will it convert over into the PC or laptop?
Yeah. So that is the app. Again, we were very happy to have got this out of sorted in time for the Producthutn launch. We released a new app this week that is, it's just typed but on your phone. So anything you do in there syncs up with the web version, the desktop version, whatever, wherever you're logged in.
Okay. Is it best to delete after the project is complete or wait for the storage to get maxed out?
I think wait for the storage to get maxed out, and the storage shouldn't. The storage that you have is very generous when you consider what you're going to be storing. It's references, it's documents, it's PDFs, it's stuff that's like at most a megabyte in size. We are looking at potentially increasing the storage cap based on some user feedback. But the idea is that you don't really reach the storage cap until you've got 4,000 documents on here. It's very much not. We put, like I said, we only put the storage cap in place to stop people from using us as a repository for their files rather than a knowledge networking and information tool. So the idea is very much not to try and get you to hit your cap and then charge you more. It's to get you using Type to store all of your documents. And the dream is more that you actually never delete anything from Typed, because the more of those documents that you have on Typed, the more it understands them. And it's quite a nice segue to kind of walk into the knowledge network. So within, the classic way of storing files, you use what's called a directory. And that's your classic storage sort of file, of folder, subfolder files. So, marketing, Q3, a folder within marketing called Q3 marketing, a folder within Q3 marketing called SEO, a folder within that called content marketing, and then you finally get through to sort of the 20 blog posts that you're writing for that quarter. What Type does that's completely different is, rather than have a hierarchical structure of folders within folders, it has this knowledge network, which you can toggle on the bottom left here. Now, what you see here is how Typed understands and it makes sense of all your files. It shows you the coolest way that you can immediately see this is by jumping into one of your projects, and you see the relationship between the documents and the resources that are in there. And once you start linking documents to each other, you start seeing kind of ecosystems of documents and references. So this is a very cool tool for finding stuff. You click on here and you get a preview. You click on the resource and you get a preview. So one of the reasons that we've done it this way is so that you can find stuff a lot quicker. That classic kind of scenario that a lot of people find themselves in is like when someone who isn't you has organized files in, say, Dropbox. You have to know what the structure is, otherwise you have no hope of finding the files. The search functionality, if you're even one letter off what the file's called, doesn't show up. Similarly, sometimes you're just in the right folder but not in the right subfolder and whatever. And it can take you literally half a day to find a file, and you need to basically email the person that created the system in the first place to find it out. Or worst case scenario, you actually end up redoing work that you don't realize another team member's done. with this system, this tool, it's just far easier to find things visually. You know that you're in the video project. Everything that's been done in the video project is in this file, so in this folder, in this project space, and you can just click on stuff and quickly browse it. And then when you find what you're looking for, go, okay, cool, this is it. And so that's the immediate tool. That's what it's been built to solve. But this is also a very good representation of how Typed understands all of your files and documents. And you want to keep, to the question that you asked, you don't want to delete your projects, because Typed makes a note of everything that's in those projects and all of the files and resources, so that if you have finished a project and you start a new one and you create a document that Typed, say the project that you finished was Q1 marketing, and you rather than delete it, you keep it within your Typed workspace. You then start to create Q2 marketing, because you're at that point of the year. Typed will recommend you resources that it thinks are going to be useful to you from Q1 marketing. So, as you go to create, here are our KPIs, or here are our goals for this quarter, you'll get a little recommended resource notification on the left-hand side in the resource library, where Typed will go, hey, we think this document, this PDF that walks through what your goals were for last year or last quarter would be really useful for creating this document that you're currently working on. So you should never be deleting projects, because the more of those you have, the more knowledge, the more Typed has learned and trained itself to know what to suggest to you while you're creating new content and new projects.
Interesting.
And that's kind of this is what we've done with it right now. But that kind of basis of contextual document and information linking, there's going to be a huge amount of our most powerful features that are going to be built off of that. So yeah, watch this space, because it's one of the things that is most unique about Type is this little network mode. This is already incredibly powerful, and it's only in beta. We're really excited by the potential that this tool has, and some of the stuff we can do with it.
What is your stack you're using for Typed from a technical stack perspective? Is it like a React application, CSS style? Are you using Tailwind? The interface looks pretty cool, but just wondering.
I'm so sorry, that one is definitely above my pay grade. Sorry, I don't know the particulars of the tech stack that it's built on. More than happy to circle back with our product team and kind of drop a little update in the Facebook comment for everyone watching. But I'm sorry, I'm not that technically gifted, I'm afraid.
No, that's cool. I mean, the interface, especially the dashboard on the sidebar, looks a little bit familiar. But just wondering. I have Typed. Do others have to have it as well to share the project, or is it for only team members?
No. So yeah, that was one of the things we've fixed recently. So within any document, as mentioned, we've kind of covered the resource library and shown you the visual knowledge network. Some of the other sort of features in this space that are worth looking at. Request review, exactly what you'd imagine. If you need your boss to have a look over this document, you can pop them a review request. But then there's also share. Now you can choose the privacy of this document and the settings. This is a very classic stuff for any real document software now. But yeah, if I want to share this with someone so they can edit, they don't have to be a member of my workspace. I just put it to can edit. I copy the link, I send it to them, they click on the URL and they can jump straight in. And one of the reasons that's so useful is, if you normally share, a Google Doc, I say I get this, it's good, but it doesn't give me the full context of the work. Whereas if you've fleshed out this resource library here, I get sent this, and I have literally every single thing that's gone into this document that at my fingertips, and I can access it all, I can download it all, I can link to it. It means that essentially when I share you a piece of finished work, I don't just share you the finished piece of work, I share you everything that's gone into it. I get the full context. So yeah, it's a really powerful feature, the sharing aspect. When people get sent that URL, they don't just get access to this core document. They get access to the knowledge library as well and everything that's in there.
There are two more comments here related to storage. Ranveer is saying the storage limit is low, and Ritvik is asking if we run out of storage limit, can we buy additional storage at a one-time price?
So I think, yeah, these are stuff we're currently, those two questions are related to some of the feedback we've got, and yeah, we're figuring that out right now in terms of like what do we increase the storage space to so that people don't hit their limit without having created thousands of documents, and two, if they do reach that limit, what do we offer them in terms of like is it a one-off extra storage space fee, or is it just like an extra $1 a month in terms of their monthly fees? So apologies, it's something we're currently working on internally because it's something that's come up a few times. So I don't have a concrete answer for you now. But as I said, I would just add to that, though, we really aren't looking to make money off of the storage aspect of it. Like, that's not what the product's there for. So if whatever solution we do come up with in terms of increasing the storage space that every user gets, it will be generous. And in terms of like, if there is a world in which we need to just charge to cover the cost, it's going to be as low as we can make it so that we're not making any profit off of it. That's not the model. The model is very much getting you using the product. The storage element is just something we've put in there because we have to, so that people can't put 4 terabytes of their artwork on their typed account and just be using it that way.
Yeah, makes sense. As long as there is no abuse, I mean, it has to be a fair usage, for sure. There was a comment here, team of 40 based in South Korea and California. I wonder who that is. But I don't see the name here. So it must be somebody from your team. I'm not sure. If I have neighbors, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say we've got a few folks spread out across the world. Cali's one of them, obviously. You can't really escape the wonders of the West Coast of America if you're going to be in product. So yeah, we've got a few folk around the world. Obviously, I'm based in London. So yeah, we've got little outlets of typed all over the world.
Where in London are you based? Well, like such a big, event yesterday, right? I mean, I did watch parts of it live, the Queen's funeral. So, did you go out? Did you go and catch a glimpse? Or?
So I didn't, obviously, with the Producthutn launch, I was just absolutely glued to my computer. But it was very nice. It was a national bank holiday for everyone in the UK, so it just meant everything was very quiet, which meant I could just get my head down and do work. So it was really nice.
Okay. So there is a comment here. If I have Nimbus, do I still need typed? Depends.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah,
I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, we think we do some unique stuff in Nimbus that, we truly believe that there is no other tool that has started out the way we have, with how can all task management and knowledge and resource finding be done within a document where people actually spend the most time, rather than in 4 interlinked systems. But my recommendation, there's only so much you can listen to me telling you about it. My recommendation would very much be jump on the free trial, give it a go. If you don't see the unique elements of our platform versus Nimbus, then fair enough. But I personally think that anyone who's used both, can see that there is some specific USPs to typed that no one else really does. But at the same time, I don't want to force anyone to use software they don't want. If you don't like it and it's not a good fit, that's absolutely no dramas. Stick with what you know and love. But that is kind of where type's coming from, is how can we integrate with the stuff you love using rather than replace it.
Do you have plans to do an API, or is there one already for typed?
There isn't one currently. I do believe there are plans to, but that's why I don't know anything regarding the timeline with that one. I think that's more of a sort of just at the point of conversation chat that our product team are having right now. But yeah, I mean, as mentioned, we're looking to be as much of a, complementary tool as possible. So if we can find a way to do that via an API, we'll 100% go all in on it.
Okay. can we have multiple owners, admins of the typed account?
So you can have your workspace, and you can set permissions within your workspace. You have a single owner of the space, and then you can see within here you set whether they're an editor, a viewer, or if you're just the original owner. So those are sort of the three levels. So you can change permissions, and again, that is something we're also currently looking at in the more immediate product roadmap. Is we've had a lot of feedback about how could you make things more secure, more levels of access, and more ability to decide on who can see what. So that is coming out soon. But right now, yeah, you can choose how many editors are in a workspace and how many viewers, and set permissions that way. But we're looking to add more nuance there and more levels of security.
Okay, great. So we are 8 minutes off from the hour when we started. I guess if you want to cover any more features of type, please feel free. Go ahead. I think we are at the end of questions. We will take a few more, but if there is any other aspects of the product, I'm sure there is a lot to do and show, but maybe some of the more important ones.
Yeah, I think the element you can see here that is quite useful is task management. So we add within this home space, this one that's more fleshed out. You can see some of the stuff I was talking about in the previous blank workspace. Template still leads, but then you have your favorites here, recent documents, and then tasks. So with a task, example task. Then with that, I can rather than assigning that as a generalist task, I can add a due date, but then I assign it to a document. So that's really where one of the focuses here that we think other platforms don't have is within a tool like Asana. Asana's great if you spend 10 hours a week on it. And no one wants to finish writing a 20-page market research document, then jump out and spend 20 minutes in Asana tagging everyone they need to. Whereas what we aim to do is really add that element of task management and project management actually within the document. So you add a due date, let's say 29th, put it in the document, and then you can also then push that to my calendar if you want. So it appears with a notification on Google Calendar. So yeah, that's one of the task management side of things. That's got a lot of different bells and whistles that are coming out in the product roadmap. We're looking to really expand on those tasks and sort of add some of the visualizations of who needs to do what based on what document that a tool like Asana does in a more board-based system. So watch that space. But yeah, that task management, that core idea of like, I don't need to leave where I'm working to do all of the admin around my work is something that we just want to double down on more and more. And like most of the features that we look to launch are aimed at that. How do we keep things in one workspace? One of the taglines we have is where work gets done. And we really are looking to make that the heart and soul of the organization. How can I make this one document that I'm in the only place I need to go to get 95% of my job done? Then I'm just thinking if there are any other core features to look at or flag. But I think we've kind of covered the basics, and I know we're a little strapped for time. So I just might jump on if there's any kind of last questions from anyone on yourself.
Yeah, there is a comment here. It says, I like this feature. I'm a GCal Power user. It would be cool if on that due date, the doc opened up when you signed in, or maybe an auto open feature for set docs. That's
brilliant suggestion. We'll 100% add it to a product team. We are currently looking at how to make the push element not just more nuanced in what it does with Google, but also more synced up with other calendars and other places we can do a reminder. Something to look out for now as we release the app this week. You'll also start to be getting the plan is to eventually get a point where you get push notifications from the app saying, hey, you've got this due in 2 days time. Make sure that you're on top of it. So yeah, brilliant recommendation with the element of like the doc open straight up. I love that.
Yeah.
But there's more coming there, and we'll be doing some cool stuff with the app once the app is fully sort of launched, and that's sort of the next step: push notifications and making sure there's a lot of that accountability for who needs to do which task.
Yeah, that's a comment from Anna. Actually, Anna is a good friend of mine, and she's a creator and she's a coach. So she's a flow coach. So do check out Anna's profile as well, and what she is building. And she's an excellent coach. So I highly recommend Anna. Thanks, Anna, for tuning in. I want to test this feature. Yes, for sure. Yeah, she's one of the most organized persons I know. So I'm sure she'll get a lot of value from Typed. Um, Corey is here. He's saying, is there a feature where you can see who viewed the project?
I don't believe there is right now, but that is a very good recommendation, and I'll definitely add it to the product roadmap. I really like that, so thank you, Corey.
Okay. So now we can get into some more other things. Thank you for giving us a great overview, guys. Thank you for all the questions, and thanks for tuning in. As you roll in marketing, right? Like, what suggest to the audience maybe some of the features, blogs, what they should be looking at, what they should be reading from your perspective as a marketing executive?
In the sort of marketing world in general, or
Yeah. What would you recommend? Yeah, any resources, anywhere where you listen, your podcast, YouTube channel, whatever.
100%. I mean, in terms of resources,
Books.
like, I was going to say mine classics would be recommendations that probably everyone's already heard of before, but the two Ogilvy books on advertising are some of the most timeless advice on why people buy and how to market to them. Thinking Fast and Slow, I think, is a brilliant one, as is, for a more off the wall take on unconventional wisdom of why people behave the way they behave, Freakonomics. I think there's a lot that people can learn from Freakonomics in terms of how to market properly. Podcast wise, God, there are thousands. Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO is it's a little hit and miss, but when he has a good guest on and he's on good form, there are some incredible insights there. He's also, I think, in terms of the toll that a lot of this takes on you, more honest and open than anyone else about, the pressures of being a company owner at 27 or whatever. I think a lot of the time people don't talk about the stress and pressure of the world of product development, CEOs, owners, entrepreneurship. There are certain people that just live it and love every second, but for a lot of us, it's very stressful. And I think Stephen Bartlett does a good job of talking about
that. Okay. And internally with the Type team, right? I mean, Type is a wonderful tool for team collaboration. I'm sure you use it a lot. And I like companies which are eating their own dog food, but what other tools do you use from your company perspective?
I think the one that it'll come as no surprise that everyone loves it is Slack. I think very few products actually do the thing they say that they do, whereas Slack really does just nail it in terms of decreasing the amount of time you have to spend on email comms. So we love Slack, very much recommend it. It's it's the first thing we've integrated with because of how useful it is. Love Slack and would very much recommend that. Thinking what else we sort of use. Loom. Love Loom, or any of the sort of spin-offs of it that do the same thing. The ability to just, rather than send a 4-page email, record a 5-minute screen recording. Just such a time saver, such a godsend. Absolutely love Loom. Those are the two that immediately jump out for me. We also have a few. What's the one there's one we use from email. I can't remember the name of. Sorry, it escapes me. But yeah, those are the two main ones that I think I use at least once a day.
Okay. With that, I think there is a comment here from Corey saying, Nilesh, I'm glad I got a chance to catch you live from start to finish. This is one product I have wanted to get, but was worried about my use case for live streaming. Corey, I hope that convinces you and it fits your use case, of course, type. So do give them a shot. I think it's not on AppSumo anymore. So your best chance would be if you can win one of the 10 giveaways we're going to do later on today. So I'll go live separately and we'll draw names for the giveaway. So Will has been generous to give out 10 lifetime accounts. And there was a post related to that in the SaasTribe community. But everyone who has interacted here, especially any questions or comments, their name is going to be put down into that draw, and we'll do that later on today. So I'm sure there is probably more than 100 people on there. But good luck to everyone. Everyone has a chance, and we are going to do that draw later today. So keep a watch. But Corey, even if you did miss it, do give Type a chance, and I'm sure do share what you like about it, and with the team as well, with the Type team, how they can improve on the product, right? So Corey has a live podcast as well. Hopefully, the feature set, which in the incredible collaboration features which Type has to offer can fit into his requirement, right? So
yeah, I'd just say, Corey, do check out the Typed website. There's under the experience tab, there's one for creators, which give you some more information on exactly how your use case can benefit from Typed. And yeah, with regards to this question about way to save links, apologies. I should have covered that in the tutorial. Yeah, any URL you have, you can chuck into the resource library. Then as soon as you click on it, it'll load that web page up on your right hand. You can pull information from it. You can also do a very cool thing where you highlight specific text sections within that URL that are also automatically flagged in the bookmark that's in your resource library. So say you're pulling 4 bits of data from a massive annual report, you just highlight the 4 pieces. They appear as little footnote highlights in your resource library, and when you click on them, along with opening up the URL, it auto scrolls you to whatever paragraph that bit of data is in, that you can then pull and put it straight into the document you're working on.
Okay. Few more questions have popped up. Well, I'm sorry. We're going to cover this in 5 more minutes. Have you looked at Ply? PLY. I wonder how Typed and Ply could work together. I was asking. They both sit on top of Google accounts to operate.
We'll definitely check them out and see if there's any way that we could collaborate with them. Thank you for that recommendation. It's awesome.
Nilan is saying, not sure if I missed this, but is there a way to save links? And I think Alma has answered that question. There is a way if you have a Typed as a web extension.
Exactly how you're putting there. That's what I was just answering earlier. Yeah, and you can add it to your resource library, click on it, it'll load it, and you can jump straight in, and you can even highlight specific bits of text within that, within whatever the URL is.
Okay. Corey is asking what time. Corey, we are going to, let me collect all the names. I do have some work-related meetings as well, but I'm going to collect the names, and we are going to announce that later today. Typed also, in case you good luck to everyone, but in case you don't win, Typed has still an offer running for $1 a month for the first 3 months. Am I right?
If you head over to our listing on Producthutn, you can, if you're subscribed to Producthutn, you can grab the offer. It's just an offer code to chuck in when you sign up and upgrade to Pro, and it will just mean that for the next 3 months you pay $1 a month. And if you're on the fence and thinking about it, I couldn't recommend that more, because we really do believe that if you use it for 3 months, you won't use anything else afterwards.
Okay. Or if you want to run a private LTD for those who missed it, you are welcome to do so as well. So you can do that. Okay. All right. So with that, Well, that was excellent. Thank you for a great overview. I think Brian should put you more live streams instead of him. You're doing a great job. I hope he watches this live stream. So,
I
well
hope he
done.
doesn't.
So thank you for all the great questions, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do the draw later on today. Typed is still on Product Hunt. They won Product of the Day yesterday, but it could be Product of the Week and more. So keep supporting them. And thanks for building a great product. Well, thank you to Type team, and thanks for all the folks who joined in. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for everyone who watched.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you.
No, all good.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot. All right, bye, guys.
We're gonna take on the world.